So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This is our last session for now. We will be talking about seventh chakra or crown chakra, but we will also make a little revision of what we were doing until now, and just hopefully inspire each other to continue this work and practice on ourselves, and then share it with others. It's a very exciting journey, and I think both with Shimanjari we had a lot of insights into how powerful it is when you share something so intimate but at the same time effective, which we were learning throughout last, I think, Shimanjari many years, and I have been through last year. So I think you could start, Shimanjari. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Mangala. It's a real pleasure that we can do this all together. And so today the chakra that we are going to speak about is the crown chakra. And again, there are many different ways how we can look at this chakra, how we can study it, and how we can understand how they apply to us or not. And the way that we are doing it is really try to understand like really the basic element and principle. For example, the crown chakra sometimes is reflected with this purple color, but we will focus today on this white, that it can come closer, like they call it ultraviolet light, but it's actually a very light, very clear, very whitish light. So this is the color we will be focusing on. And as a name, Sahasrara, that means 1,000 petals. So it's often refers to a lotus that has so many petals. So the crown chakra is on top of the head, and actually is they call it the fountain in Italian fontanella. I'm not fully sure of the right English word, but is very soft spot on top of the head that you can also try. Maybe right now you can try to just find the space that is the most soft part of the head. And in babies it's very easily recognizable because it's very open. In children, this first chakra, this seventh chakra, is very open, even more than others, because according to some texts from the Vedas, I can also give you references later on if you like. There are that's how the soul enters the body. It enters from the crown chakra, and that's why it's a very sensitive space, and it's always recommended to be very gentle with the babies and with this area on top. We understand the location. We understand also the that we will use by the end of the class. We will do this little meditation. We will practice with mantra. So it's a very spiritual topic. It's probably the most spiritual topic that we can ever have, because this is how the soul chooses to start its journey on this earth. And this is how the soul chooses to reawaken their spiritual identity and go back to eternal life. So it is an immense awareness or space of energy that allow us to connect with God, allow us to connect with the supreme energy, supreme power, allow us to feel that we are actually sparks coming from that space. And it's exciting. When this chakra is open, it's exciting. We feel alive. We feel that we understand life, we understand situation, we understand our purpose, we understand everyone's purpose. And it's very exciting. So you can see people that have this seventh chakra very open, they really feel this excitement, and not because of some action. Like we went through all the other chakras and there are always some actions or some smell or some activities that one can do to like open or re-energize ourselves, but the crown chakra is really all about this connection, all about this understanding of our true nature, of the supreme, of who we really are, of the nature of the soul. And that's why it goes really much into the spiritual essence. And we are speaking about spiritual essence. We are not speaking about religion. We are not speaking about all kinds of rules and regulations. We're just speaking of the unique truth that we are all part and parcel of the supreme energy. And then there are, of course, many different ways of how one can work with this chakra, of how one can work with the others. And it's beautiful because this center, it keeps us going. Like when the seventh chakra is open, automatically all the other chakra can work or not. Like when they become, like for example, when our other chakras are imbalanced but the seventh chakra is open, we can still find ways to heal ourselves. But even if all these chakras are open but the seventh chakra is closed, it won't allow us to actually heal ourselves. So it's a very powerful center that when it's closed, it really stops any healing, any progress in any other area of our life. And we can endeavor so much to open the heart. We can endeavor so much to ground ourselves or to do so many things, but if we don't develop this inner awareness and this understanding that we are not the controller, that a higher power is controlling us, a higher power is the source from where we come from, then all the rest, it will be, we can still kind of do something, but will be in a sense useless, because it's like right, it's like driving a car, but you have no clue where you're going. So it's like you can still be like, okay, I'm making the car work and I'm actually driving, but there is like a complete lack of sense of purpose. And then it eventually it will not have any purpose, or not have any real meaning, the activity itself. So it's the most important, and I'm grateful we can speak about it today, because there is so much connected to it. So another element connected to this chakra is also the so we spoke about this area actually a little bit. So here is the fountain, we said here is the crown, and a little bit behind, so it's a little bit at the front, and then there is like a bone, and then a little bit behind is where also the usually in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, or monks in India have, is called Sika. That's where it's also called Bindu Visharga. I was researching a little bit the Sanskrit name of this area actually here, because it's very, very powerful in a way that that's where it starts emanating, like this energy, and that's where our hair is very much influenced. It's very much influenced by the seventh chakra. I don't know if you ever heard, but in usually the hair are also very much connected with also the cycle of the moon, and that's why usually it's recommended like to cut the hair in particular stages of the rising moon and not on the waning moon, because it will increase the energy of the woman. But actually the hair are also considered like antennas, right? And that's why it's always recommended for women to cover their hair in a way that they can protect more their energy, because the air actually absorb a lot of energy. And that's why it's always very important to, especially when one is in contact with many people, to actually keep the hair tight and close, because hairs really, really absorb a lot of energy, and it's amazing. Sometimes we can just see like some, people may suffer of dandruff, or may have very itchy scalp, or have all these like hair problems, but actually it's very much related also with the people and the energy we are in the environment with. So it has been a very fascinating topic for me to to discover more about how the seventh chakra influences the health of the hair, and we will speak how the essential oils can help with that. And another thing is yeah, and that's is connected with the hair. When one wants to release energy, especially women, then to keep the hair open, to untie them, and that will already help to soothe and relax and allow the energy to like spread out and feel comfortable where you are. So just a little tips. And then regarding unbalances of this chakra, so I could say unfortunately or fortunately, it's always relative. But in my personal experience, I personally never had so often problems of uh, seven chakra balances as much as, for example, my family had. And you can notice the effect very much on this chakra when one is goes into that depressive energy. So it is a very deep topic because depression is very much misunderstood, is very much judged. And if one has never experienced it, because it is possible that, you know, people may have never experienced it, because it is very much connected with the seventh chakra. And when this chakra closes, it means there are other beings also entering in that body, in that person, and sucking the energy out. So the person that will actually suffer from a blocked seventh chakra is a person that is really not aware of what's going on. And that's why it's difficult to treat or to understand, because they themselves are completely aloof from what's going on. They feel this detachment kind of from the body, and they just are in this like dark bubble where everything is a very extreme actually situation. And you can see people that have, usually it's very clear when a person has blocked seven chakra, is very is I mean, what to say, is very clear, like for a person that knows. But if one doesn't know, it may look like the person is fine actually, because they may still act normally and do everything, but actually inside there can be so much distress. And actually, probably you have heard also, when people are very depressive and they go through suicidal, usually you don't really see extreme behaviors before. It's like very closed energy, and very difficult to enter unless one really knows what's going on. So when this happens, and you notice you have a person that may suffer from this closure of this chakra, the best thing is, because they themselves actually don't understand, the best thing is to not like go and ask like 1,000 questions, are you okay, are you not okay, because that will make it worse actually. But it's just to be with them, because they themselves are not really there in their body, in their experience, in their life. So if you would actually create that space for them and actually be there for them, and just spend the time, just invest your time in just being with them, and mirror them in a way that they can really understand how they are behaving, because they may not have any clue at all. So mirroring is also a very wonderful exercise that it consists in genuinely being a mirror of that person, without imposing anything, without exaggerating or minimizing their emotions, just really trying to reply on the same tone, and then just trying to be on their energy so that they can understand better what's going on within them. So this is my personal experience, but also work-wise, I did work and spent quite some time with people suffering from it. That's why I started also studying shamanism and going into different type of healings at a young age, because I think it's just very difficult to have people close to you that go into this space, and and then one really wants to really wants to help. And then so I've been studying a lot on this topic. So it is not easy. It is definitely not easy. And for us, or people that are having a spiritual life, that are dedicating themselves to going to temple, offering prayers every day, and having a more sattvic or balanced lifestyle, usually this chakra is very easily opened. I have experiences also of clients that they would be completely like they would actually have it blocked, like not as a chronic block, but just like temporarily. And then like a moment before, and then I would recommend, or they would actually go to temple and immediately would already be open that channel, and immediately healing will start flowing through the body. So this is a very powerful experience. So with prayers, with mantras, it is possible to heal. And then I would say this is probably the main, when it's in excess, this chakra, it can it can just one can really feel confused and uncertain, and will try to always like these people that always want to find a reason, like this is happening, and just trying to find a reason of why everything is happening. And also physically can create a lot of pain on the head. This is one thing that I actually do every day, because just by being around people, or if you're a person that needs to go to work every day, this part of the head, so this is where we absorb energy, right? This is how, especially empathetic people that feel so much others' energy, they will absorb it, and it will all be stored here. So recommend every night to have a nice massage to like really release all that tension here. And take care of your head also, like physically, because as much as we want to use prayers that are the most powerful, also on a physical level, there must be some care, because we are still here and we don't know how long we will keep this body. So there is always that necessity to stay healthy. And last thing is the ability to center it with the heart. So when this chakra becomes like in excess, and sometimes it's visible also, like the hair become like electric hairs, and then one wants to always bring it back to the heart center. Another exercise is through yoga. I always recommend, like, just push the top of the head, like Shirshasana, like head down and legs up. That will give an immediate boost to the system. When the vata is high, when there is so much energy and we need to ground ourselves, the best way is to put the head and just release it. Like when you put the head on the earth and just imagine yourself like making roots and releasing all the tension from the top, because that's also a very powerful technique. So yeah, this is a little introduction. And Mangala, would you like to add your experience?
Thank you so much. I think you gave actually so many very practical insights into the sort of the reality of this chakra and this energy center and how it influences our life. And I think it's quite, real for many people to experience these imbalances. And one interesting point you said is that sometimes our chakras are chronically imbalanced, and sometimes it's just situational. So that was actually very good insight also that there's sometimes we have to really work deeper on some aspects, and sometimes it's just because of situation and we see already how it's unbalanced. So that was really, really potent for me. Thank you. I don't know, I have a few things that perhaps I could mention, but I think you've already kind of went through the most important parts. For me, this chakra kind of represents consciousness. Many times we speak about consciousness and how this is how we actually become more, come more to our real self, is to become more conscious of, first of all, where we are and so on, and how we are doing things. So actually, consciousness does work through all the chakras. It's not just this connection with the divine. So we actually, what we see already is affected by consciousness. When we hear what somebody speaks, or when we fall in love, we also know what to do, it's like the third chakra, and what we feel. And also the consciousness operates our body. So it's actually really like pervasive. But in this seventh chakra, it's really like a pure consciousness. It's like sort of this infinite realm. When we speak about spiritual realm, it's like infinite. And this is actually the connection to the divine, which you actually really emphasized. And this is the beauty of this connection, that we understand that this is where we actually connect. So it's actually a very big possibility for amazing transformation working with this energy center. And we can gain a lot of realization and positivity. This is one aspect of this chakra that I want to a little bit focus on. That positivity, which actually is there present in this connection with the divine, if we think about it, because in this realm of material body, material consciousness, material aspect, there's so much like negativity and being dragged down and distracted from our path and practice and so on. So it's sort of very negative and more heavy, but positivity really brings us up and uplifts us. So there is wisdom there present, and it's sort of like chakra of awareness, which you mentioned already. So you gave us a lot of warnings about what happens if this chakra is out of balance, maybe more on defect. So when we are like sort of lacking this proper awareness, and we're being affected by other people's energies a lot, especially people whose seventh chakra is also out of balance. So it's very important to protect ourselves, and we will give you some ideas with oils what we can do. So basically, many times when somebody would suffer from seventh chakra imbalance, there would be also possibility to be invaded by other entities. We speak about that a lot. So it's very important to be aware of that this chakra also brings this possibility that our consciousness is invaded basically, and then many different things can happen. So many times also mental diseases come from imbalance in this chakra. So people perhaps who suffer from some mental disease or heavy disbalance, this would really be connected with that energy center being out of balance, most probably in defect or excess. It's very different. That's very hard to distinguish actually. So it's all about when negativity comes into our life, when we start to see things dark, and we feel burdened by negative news, by negative experiences, by other negative people, that all kind of closes our consciousness and our awareness of the infinite possibility and of the divine, but it's all kind of becoming darker and darker and more closed. So it can become very heavy. So basically, it's important to fill ourselves with positivity, doing different practices that will enlighten us, that will become more more balanced and in goodness, we call it. So this will be very, very good for us. So anything to do, like you were mentioning, the head, the scalp, the hair, very, very powerful actually. So anything to do with mental problems, like I said, schizophrenia, mental injuries, or brain damage, like paralysis or anything. The heavy headaches also that go from up behind, like heavy migraines. This would be all because of the imbalance of seventh chakra. So it's important to be aware of that. There's some ways of how we can protect, like I said, with oils, but I'll wait with that a little bit. So because of hearing all that, how negativity can influence us, it's very important to actually be aware of what we're even like kind of putting into our awareness and consciousness, like what we're reading, what are kind of things we're hearing, like we said last time, what kind of things we're associating with in general. So that kind of energy will be affecting us. And we know that the most powerful things to sort of purify our consciousness, to elevate our consciousness, is hearing about spiritual topics or reading from spiritual persons who are themselves very balanced and established and focus on proper goals. And so chanting mantras, like if we think about it, through each chakra actually we were chanting different mantras. So now when we come to the highest chakra, we want to use the most powerful mantra. We want to use the mantra which actually encompasses all the other mantras. And in some tradition, they would just practice silence when they balance and focus on this chakra. So when focusing on this white crystal energy, but in our practice, how we have learned, the mantra that actually encompasses all the other mantras would be a Maha Mantra, or the Great Mantra. And this mantra is very powerful because it basically contains the names of God, Krishna and Rama, and that is very, very strong experience of all that divinity and love and purity and wisdom. So it helps one immediately kind of transcend to this pure consciousness and get rid of negativity. So we can actually try and just see for ourselves how this vibration will be purifying our consciousness instantly. Of course, when we focus on it and when we really like just open ourselves to the possibility that it can really, really help us. So this is the most powerful mantra. We will actually try it out later together when we do the practical exercise. And this mantra talks all about surrender and devotion and love. And it's actually the most, contains the most powerful energy of the universe. So in this way, we're attracting huge amount of wisdom and positivity. And just by chanting, it's possible to even release many karmic bonds from the past and so on. So while we're chanting in this energy center, just try to visualize like a white waterfall flowing, and Shimanjari will guide us through that very beautifully. So, but just try to see how that flow of divine kind of goes throughout our body, and just everything turns into this same energy of consciousness, pure consciousness. So it's very beautiful. So before we go to the practical work, we wanted to just speak about a few oils that can help us, that can really support us on this journey of balancing our seventh chakra. So Shimanjari, would you like to start?
Okay. So yeah, it's very beautifully said that what you said about the consciousness and then purifying like all the others through this. But like we will do this meditation, and I loved what you said about this vipassana, this silent meditation, that it's also very, very powerful. Even though like we are there are different ways to silence the mind, and definitely either through mantra chanting or like full quietness you know, it's the most beautiful for me that worked wonder is to do like vipassana, like to have a day where you don't speak any word, you only chant mantras. So yeah, I think that I did also many years ago just the full vipassana where you don't chant in either mantras or you speak, but it's extremely powerful if instead one can just chant mantras just for one day, just mantras, and you don't speak anything else. You don't actually speak with people, but you just really take the time for yourself and to yeah, repeat mantras with him. It's really wow. Yeah. So speaking about oils, okay, most of the oils we already spoke like in all the other sessions because yeah, these are the oils like in a sense that we can best use for the crown. I use a lot, like every day, rosemary every night, so in this way the scalp becomes nourished, and is also helpful because it inspires this area to release the stress and to be more sensitive to knowledge, to higher knowledge. So rosemary has been very, very helpful to me. And then frankincense, because it works wonderfully on all chakras, but also it really helps purifying from negative energy. Actually, also peppermint helps very much for the scalp. I made this mix with the rosemary, peppermint, frankincense, helichrysum, and lavender. So if you have like problems with the scalp, this is a really, really wonderful mix. And then the last one is helichrysum, because again, it's such a gentle smell. At the same time, it's so powerful, and I feel like when I am overwhelmed completely, like where it feels very, very difficult to concentrate or to calm down, somehow helichrysum has been always the fastest one to put me back on track, actually on all the chakras, but I experienced it also very fast on the on the crown, because sometimes you can feel like really like you can really feel like hurting like all this area, and immediately somehow with the helichrysum I was just able to like come back to myself very quickly and recenter. So yeah, this is my experience with this chakra.
Yeah, good point about the hurting of the pain on the scalp, actually, because that happens definitely a lot. So I will give it a try. I was speaking about how we can protect ourselves, and there's two oils which I would really, really recommend to protect from sucking too much of the negative energy, or to be affected of too much from too much of negative energy or people, yeah, in general. So there's two oils which are very, very powerful for that. They're lemongrass and terra-shield. Yeah, you see them. Terra-shield we've been mentioning before. It's very sweet oil, and it's meant for sort of getting rid of insects or to kind of it's like an insect repellent, but actually it also helps with just to establish the boundaries and not get attacked by other people or other entities even. So it kind of gives us courage and confidence to stand up. So it's sort of really helping also on this courage level, So very, very beautiful oil. I love it very much since I discovered it some months ago to really use for that. And lemongrass, and perhaps we didn't speak about it yet so much, but it's really like electricity in the bottle. Some people who are very sensitive can really perceive that. And lemongrass would be all about cleansing the energy. So we can again use it as well on our seventh chakra. And it's all about getting rid of these feelings of despondency and despair, and it helps us to enter into the healing mode. So we can, of course, also use it for other chakras, and it will help us to get rid of stagnant energy. So it really will help us to make the flow of energy, so open also the consciousness. So it's very good for spiritual practice as well in this regard. So this is lemongrass and terra shield, very powerful ones. And I wanted to mention bergamot. Today I'm using it in water. Bergamot is the sweetest citrus oil for me personally. I love it very, very much. But again, it's helping with about emotional work. It's very, very, very connected with emotional work in general. But it also gives soul a hope and courage. So it's very much can help us to connect with higher realm or ourselves as individuals, as spirit souls. So bergamot would be very beautiful oil, very tender as well. And the last one that I would like to mention now, and I've used it today a lot, exceptionally actually, I was very attracted to it. It's sandalwood. Sandalwood is very deep oil and very grounding. So many people use it for their spiritual practice, to put it also on the forehead, but we can use it on the seventh chakra as well, and it's very powerful to create this connection with the divine and spiritual. It's also the oil of sacred devotion, they call it. So it helps with quieting the mind and get in touch with the voice of spirit. So it would really help us to raise our awareness. So very, very beautiful oil and very deep. So it's in general very healing oil. It's precious, but once we can get it, and we can really use it for this self-healing and balancing. So yeah, this is what I wanted to speak about, the oils. And so I think we will slowly be ready for the practical part, isn't it? I just wanted to give some thoughts about what would be possible to do throughout the next weeks, just as a result of whatever we were speaking about here, to also help us with the seventh chakra. So one part of energetic healing that we can do ourselves very easily, actually, and it's very connected with positivity that we want to bring into our life, is to work with the breath. To just try while we're breathing, just to bring in light energy and white energy, and then exhale and remove all the bad energy and dark energy, and just see how that goes into the earth and is transformed there. So in that way, we can really bring more positivity and light in our lives and get rid of negativity. Perhaps one very easy exercise is to try every day to have like a little diary and write down 5 positive things that happen in our lives. 5 things that we feel are like the grace or the blessing in our life, and that we're very grateful, and that we see it's something connected with getting a gift, receiving a gift, from the divine. So that will really start to change our mindset and to see how we are part of the greater picture. And a second thing that's very powerful is prayer. And prayer can be very, very individual, a very private thing, as a communication between us as a soul and the divine. So we can pray in different ways at different times, and it's sort of just turning to the divine. So we can pray for healing, so that we can get healed and actually be able to again step back into our right place and real identity, and offer more from ourselves, because that's very empowering. So in this way, with prayer, we're actually connecting ourselves with higher power. And then the third things that we can do is actually read sacred scriptures. And for example, Bhagavad Gita is one of those scriptures that I highly recommend Bhagavad Gita as it is, and there's many other scriptures that we could read and in that way get in touch with this very healing divine energy. And the fourth, but not the last, is to attend some spiritual programs that we can in some sacred places that we perhaps encounter around us, or create something like that in our home. And through spiritual program, to really, through meditation or chanting, to really connect with this energy regularly. So in that way we will be able to expand our consciousness and connect with the divine. So I think we're ready, Shimanjari. You can take us away.
Thank you. It's very, very practical, very, very practical things that you can do. Thank you, Mangala. And yeah, we can start. So I recommend you have in front of you the oils that you may think are most relevant for this chakra, and then close your eye and just choose one oil with your left hand, so in a way that you can connect it with that your subconscious body can guide you to choose and use what you need the most right now. And slowly we can, like Mangala was advising, also just deep inhale and exhale. Just find the time and space to connect. With the oil, you can place a drop in your hand and smell it. Then rub it off top of your head all the way down. You can also rub it all the way down, and you can go with the hands all the way down to the legs, and to really allow the oil to come from the top and just really help us purify all our centers. Deep inhale, head, and exhale all the way down. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Just rub it on your rub your hands on your arm in a way that we can release, let go of all the stress, all the energies that have been affecting us today. Deep inhale. Try to align the spine, open shoulders. Allow as if like a string is pulling you up from the top of the head. Allow your back to be straight, and at the same time, with every inhale, we feel and we connect more to the body. With every exhale, we let go any tension in the body. Inhale, the energy becomes clear in our body, and exhale, letting go, letting go, letting go. Another points connected to this chakra is also the tip of our fingers. So you can press the tip of your fingers together. It will also help us release, and also tapping them together. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Together. exhale to let go. And then from here, up on the top of the head, inhale and and slowly release. This chakra is connected also with the Akash. They call it cosmic energy. And this is the mudra for this chakra. So you can also do our mudras together. So it's not the second, but this the third finger and the big, yeah, the first finger. You can do both hands, the thumb together, both hands, and then place the palm of your hand facing downward right now because we are in the process of releasing. But if you do the meditation in the morning, then you want to place your hands upward. So after the sun is setting, then we want to place the hands facing downward. Inhale. Just really feel the lungs filling up with energy, with prana, with life air, and exhaling, releasing all the excess energy. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale 4, 3. I would like you to start visualizing this white light that you can visualize it actually as a flame, a white flame. It is like glowing, it is like burning all the impurities that have been coming our way. You can visualize this white flame just burning on top of your head. Fire, this very pure fire. And then slowly we start to feel how this fire is like glowing and glowing. And slowly starting to affect also the third eye, our sixth chakra. So now this purple indigo color of our third eye is becoming affected by this white light, this beautiful white fire. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly it's going down, throat chakra. This beautiful blue color of our throat is becoming affected by this white light that is expanding. And now our throat chakra is turning to this whitish And then the heart, beautiful green color of our heart, is slowly being influenced by this beautiful light. It's transforming, this fire is growing, and our heart becomes white, amazing, purity. Everything is burning into this fire that is growing and increasing. So we can see how these chakras are slowly becoming more and more purified. This beautiful white light. And then down to the solar plexus, to our yellow center on the stomach, and it's becoming even more purified. And this fire of white light is expanding to the belly, and all impurity in the belly are vanquishing. And then the second chakra, the orange center under the belly button, becoming more and more influenced by this white light, this white fire that is expanding. And all the impurities are burning away from the second chakra. And this white light is taking over, relaxing and purifying this center. And then this fire is growing even more, taking all the way down to the feet, so the first chakra become open and energized and release from all fears and anxiety. And now our body is fully surcharged with this white light, beautiful energy, fully surrounding us and protecting us and guiding us to a deep experience of surrender, of letting go, whatever is holding. And now slowly by feeling this white light all around us, all within us, we start to feel the first chakra. Now the color from white it becomes a red that is pure. And then the second chakra becomes a pure orange, blue, beaming and blossoming. And the third chakra, this yellow, becomes even more yellow, more pure. And then the fourth chakra, the heart, becomes even more open and it expands even more, this green light. And then the throat chakra becomes even more purified and blue and free from all conditionment. Third eye, this violet light, this purple becomes purified, and there is full trust, full faith, and full understanding of the beautiful energy, the beautiful essence that we truly are. The essence that is within us and is outside of us. And then connecting to our crown chakra and connecting with the source, with the supreme energy. And let's just feel for a moment that we are this little spark of energy that comes from this supreme, magnificent, universal energy that has also beautiful form. And today we will chant together this mantra, most powerful Maha Mantra. It will guide us into understanding that beyond this energy, there is a beautiful eternal life of love, of unconditional love between the soul and God. So together we will now chant the Maha Mantra. So if you know it, please chant along. Otherwise, just follow this vibration. Inhale. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Do it 3 more times. Inhale. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, this time even more slow. Inhale. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Allowing ourselves to feel, stay in this energy, and just imagine how this beautiful energy within you is just expanding all over in your home, in your room, and then even more is expanding in your um, full home, in your town, in your city, and then it's expanding your country, it's expanding in your state, it is expanding completely all over the world. May all beings be eternally blessed. May all beings be happy. May all beings find their way of love, compassion, eternal life. Priyam. Slowly you can come back to your body, feel it even more, and then again we can wrap our hands so that we can reawaken our system. Sometimes it can feel a little bit dizzy after such meditation. This helps us to ground again. Then place the hands in front of the eyes. Welcome back. Thank you all very, very much for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.